Well, I washed my dishes. I figured out I got some plastic and jammed down to the hole and then put another stopper that didn't fit. It held water long enough for me to wash it. It's not, the water don't stay in there long enough. I'll be washing it. What I do, it's really simple. I just wash them, put them back in, wash them, put them back in. And feel around to see if anything I missed or wash them again. And then I'll let them sit, drain it, and then rinse it, and then dry them. I wish I had a dishwasher. That would be really cool. I'm watching, I don't know who this is. I don't know nothing about this. It is impressive. It really is. This is Yoko Ka and Ali Farusakto Sparkling Original. This is original. I'm impressed. I really am impressed with it. I really am. Guys, let me tell you some things about me. I usually do this after a while, so you'll get an understanding. I have been involved in music since age 3. I've sang in quite a few choirs, sung solos, duets, quartets, and octets. Really, it was Myers Park Presbyterian Church. I was in their chancel choir for 12 years. And Bob Stegall was the choral director and also the choir director. We did particular songs or pieces, what do you want to call them? There was one that I'm going to remember because I'm going to play it and let you hear it. There's a spot of a progression. It might have been Handel's Messiah. It could have been. One of them is just a progression of the notes as they're flowing. It's almost like you're reaching up and grabbing the hand of God. And it used to just floor me at how that composer did that. You don't hear it anywhere else. I'm sorry, guys. No other music. You don't hear it at all. And what amazes me is the power of the composers. The power and the knowledge, the immense talent to write what they wrote. I highly respect him, I really do. I sang in so many different, my choir director got into John Rutter. He liked John Rutter a lot. Him and Ann actually went and heard him live. Yeah. It was a lot of fun singing in the choir. I was a tenor section leader, which meant I was responsible for the section in regard to sometimes taking a guy and to the room, and I sat on the piano with my right hand. Remember, I could play the piano with my right hand. I've been playing the notes and then helping him sing his part, basically, And I had a good time doing that. I've been a singer all my life. I have also probably played the tenor saxophone about as long as I sang. Really, the tenor saxophone, I had a great tonality, and I played a lot of blues. I would hear, some old style blues, old style blues. Johnny Lee Hooker, something like that. And I would jam on my sax. Overtones I never figured out. A saxophone has overtones. I never figured it out. Never did. I've been in 3 bands that had a horn section. You know, and the fact is that I was just enmeshed in all of it. You know, I studied bands and watched the mistakes and the things they did right. And the problem is with a band, it's when you're doing too many bad things and not enough good things. It's where you start going, yeah. And it gets to be a long spell since you did a recording for another album, right? You know, and you're thinking you might go live, but what are you going to play that people are going to like? Your old stuff, and people have already heard it. You know, I understand bands extremely well. Extremely well. That's why I keep bringing up the Warning. You know, I'm really into that band, but they got to get out of this basic rock crap they're doing. You know, move into something that is more mainstream. You know, why not? What are you going to lose? Your fans are still going to follow you. They will. They'll follow you. As I've said before, I'll say it again. Popular music is very popular. You know, it's got to be pop. And I don't want the Warning Band necessarily to listen to other artists and think, maybe I can do that. No, I'm not saying that at all, period. What I want to see you do is to write songs you've never written before. Something different, something new, unique. You know, the music will come to what you're writing. You'll feel the music. But my whole point to you is that you're still locked into this basic rock beat. And just moving out of that, you know. I mean, let me talk about the Beatles. When they first began, I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. You know, that type crap. Little girl crappy crap's all it was. But they did what? They got the females going, "Oh, Paul, you're so cute." Oh, please. You know, but the whole point that I'm telling the Warning Band is that the Beatles evolved and grew as they moved into music. And you can hear the differences in every album they put out. Absolutely. Taylor Swift has taken a 35-year-old woman album now. That's what I like about her. People don't know that. She is 35. She's a full-grown woman. And she put out a full-grown woman album, and I'm very impressed with it. I still haven't got it yet. I'm just not quite into that, Taylor. Taylor I like, but just something about her music. I just never could get into it. You know, it's kind of like the Warning. I'm trying to get back into yours. I've listened to bands. I mean, I was telling one girl, she was shocked. She's 20-something, a webcam model. I saw Eric Clapton and Carlos Santana together in Charlotte. I was there, and I was right up to the front. They spent 40 minutes at the end of the concert. Eric and Carlos jamming to Amazing Grace. And the Amazing Grace, what they did was they just transcended. And it was the most beautiful guitar playing I've ever heard. And it was great. You know, that's all I do. I study bands. I watch bands. I see the bands that failed and the ones that went selling. You know, I see bands that have an audience that just keeps going. It doesn't stop. You know, and it is that this is basically my retirement. This is what I do now, is to try to help the Warning to move on, to get into something different, something new, something that might scare you. And you're going, nah, I can't do that. Why not? Just do it. Why not? Just do it. Something new, something unusual, something that has nothing to do with your band. So try to get that idea and thought. And what I want to see is you walking towards constant number 1 and number 2 and number 3s on the billboard. And it takes a risk and a change. And asking yourself, am I willing to go that extra distance and try something I've never done before? A unique sound that will bring in the audience. So the Warning, that's what I want you to look into. What I want to see one day is you at every concert. You have so many people out in the audience, you can't see the end of it. Like 50,000 or more. Yeah. And, you know, I'm into bands, I really am. I tried to manage a band, but they were ass wipes. They were women, no offense, but they were ass wipes. They were good. Joy and something Perrin, they were lesbians, I think. I don't know. They were really good. They had a good sound. I've helped people on a board to get a better tweak on you know, double door. I worked with the guy on the board a lot because I'd say, dude, that mic on her is not right. It's not. It doesn't sound right. You know. And so I got into miking, and I got into helping bands to have a better sound when they're at the mic. You know, when it's going through the board, it's got to be mixed right, and it's got to be a good board. You know, if you're using a cheap board, you're going to get a cheap sound. So, I mean, the better the board, the better the sound. Mics have to be incredibly nice mics, and they're out there. They're out there. You know, I do everything. When I'm listening to this original right here, it's well done. The photography or the video was bad. The video is awful. But I'm very impressed with them, and I'm going to look them up on YouTube. That's what I do. So the Warng Band, I'm going to go back to your channel. I'm going to check and see what you're doing now. Has it changed from that old rock basic beat? Or are you moving into something unique and different? Maybe something that scares you and you're going, nah, I can't do that. If I do that, I'll end the band. Then so what? It ends the band. Start a new band. You know? Like I said, I mean, let me face it this way. There's a job I've worked hard for. And I want to go that extra step and get that job that I've always dreamed of having. But I'm too scared because I know that something might happen. Or I can't do it, or I can't get it. You know, and you're just defeating yourself. Instead of just simply saying, I'm going to go on the interview, I'm going to get the job, and I'm going to reach my dreams. You know, a band, you got to get your mind set on the fact that you have specific things, sellable albums, #1 hits. building your audience. Remember, I told you, you have an audience now. You need to go beyond that audience. Go beyond it. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that audience to grow. Taylor Swift went over generations as how she got so popular with her fans. You know, if you stick around long enough and write a hit song constantly, you're going to bring in a lot of people that love you. Taylor Swift, by far, I had tears coming out of my eyes. Her fans are the most amazing fans I've ever seen. She's singing her Eras tour, and she's in the auditorium singing. Out in the parking lot is full of people everywhere in the parking lot, all the way around it, just full. Every single one of them are singing her words to her songs. It was an amazing thing. They loved her so much and couldn't get in, they stood outside and sang the songs as she sang them. That's why she does open concerts, not in dome concerts. Smart lady. But this is all I do is music. I can listen to a performance and see if it's worth a crap or not. I have had orchestras that were awful. I'm sorry, but they were. They were just flat awful. You know, an orchestra can play their notes, but can they feel the music? Oh yeah, I'm the conductor. Yes, sir. I wave my arms and do all this stuff. Yeah, but are the sections doing it? Or are they just saying, yeah, this dynamic on this, and there's a crescendo here, and blah, 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 and, you know. But I know bands. I do know bands. I'm going to be focusing on the Warng Band. Why not? Give me something to do with my time since I'm an old cowboy from the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. And that doesn't mean Queen the way you think. It's Queen Charlotte. And as I said, we're British. Everything's British here. Everything. I mean, come on. Burlington, Raleigh, okay, Mecklenburg County, you know, stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog. And like I said, I'm going to be focusing on the Warng Band. I want to see what they're doing. Their fans are really passionate. And I really do applaud the Warng on that. Your fans are extremely passionate. And I like that. I do. I like it. Let me explain to you that this is where female bands are different than male bands. Female bands, you need to understand that you're going to be attracting the men because you are attractive. And that makes sense. But the music you write may need to be to the females because they're the ones going to go out and buy the albums. They're the ones going to buy the albums. I've always said to any artist out there, I don't care who you are. When it comes to album sales, it's females. They're the ones that buy it and listen to it. That's what made the Beatles, was females. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I've said it before. In music, if you're a band, I know who's going to be buying my album, so why not write your songs for them? Taylor Swift did. Sabrina Carpenter's doing it. Tay McRae's doing it. All of them are doing it. I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog. And guys, yes, I know music extremely well. Rick Beto!